Good afternoon, students. Welcome to Social Studies class of grade 5. I am Yashasvi, your social studies teacher. In today's class, let us start chapter number 19, Struggle Towards Freedom. I hope many of you would have known at least a bit of information about our freedom struggle. I mean, our country's freedom struggle. So, in this chapter, we'll be studying in depth the history and the struggle by many of the freedom fighters to gain freedom from Britishers. So, let us start. India was known as the Golden Bird. This name was given because of its wealth and prosperity. India was rich in spices, textiles, precious and semi precious stones, jewels of all kinds, and pearls. Indian goods were very popular worldwide. Earlier, India was called as Golden Bird because it was rich in spices, the textiles, precious and semi precious stones, and the jewels, including all kinds of pearls. So, these all goods were very popular by India throughout the world. The Arabs were the first traders with whom Indians did business. Then came the Portuguese, the Dutch, the French, and the English. Basically, foreigners came to India with a mindset of business. Among them, the first who came for business with India were the Arabs. Next came the Portuguese, later the Dutch, the French, and finally the English. Englishmen are called as Britishers. There were fights among these powers for control over the Indian products and markets. The English were victorious. So, the English people, the businessmen, were very courageous, brave, and hence they won the fights for the power to control, and they were very victorious. After some years, they not only controlled the trade through a company called the East India Company. So, East India Company was formed by some merchants meaning businessmen. They were of London and it was formed in the year 1600. This is the logo. They also ruled over India. So basically, East India Company was formed to control only the trade, but later on they also ruled us, which means they ruled over India. The company here means East India Company. So in short, we mention as only company. So this company would purchase goods from India at a very, very low rate, cheap rate, and they used to sell them abroad in other countries at a high price. So as a result, the company earned large profits. The company established factories in various Indian towns. You can observe in the image given here. They did this to show that they were protecting these factories. A number of forts and armies were maintained by the British. The next topic is anger of Indians. India had an agrarian economy. Agrarian economy means a country which is highly dependent on agriculture for its sustainability of economy. This meant that the livelihood of the people mainly depended on agricultural produce. England was a developed country with factories and industries. It needed raw materials and markets to sell off the finished products. This was only possible by controlling India. By now we know that India is a agricultural based country. This was an added advantage for the England people because England was very developed with a various number of factories and industries. So it needed raw materials and markets to sell the finished goods. So it came to know that only if it could control India, then only it could prosper in its business. So for this, the English East India Company exploited the poor farmers of India. The farmers were actually forced to grow crops that would be used as raw materials in their factories, which means in English factories. Such crops were called as cash crops. These cash crops were not of much use. They would not fill the stomach, but yes, of course, they would fill the stomachs of other factories as a raw material. Cotton, a cash crop, served as raw material for the textile industries in England. This raw material was purchased by the company at very low prices. So first of all, the English have forced the farmers to grow only the cash crops, which would earn profits for them and not for the farmers. The farmers were not allowed to grow food crops, and as a result, many farmers and their families starved without food. The Indian handloom industry suffered because the cloth which was manufactured in India was cheap as it was produced in bulk in the mills. The handmade cloth which was manufactured in Indian handlooms was relatively expensive when compared to the England handlooms because they would produce it in more numbers, in bulk. As if this was not enough, the East India Company made unjust laws. Unjust means which was against justice, which made the Nawabs and kings of India very unhappy. The East India Company made many such rules which were against the Indian kings, meaning Nawabs. One of the laws under this was, if a king died without a child, then his whole kingdom would be taken away by the British. Similarly, the officers of the company received huge salaries. There were many Indians who lost their jobs. Armies of Indian rulers were dismissed and soldiers were left unemployed. So, to explain this in short, the British were taking full control through unfair policies that angered the Indians. Because of this, people from different parts of India began protesting. But the sad scenario was there was no unity in their protests. So, one part of the people would protest in some corner of the country, and another part of the people or the society would protest there. So, basically, there was no unity among the protests. The revolt of 1857. This is the next topic we need to study about. In 1857, a major revolt broke out, which was started by the Indian soldiers serving in the British Army in India. The Lee Enfield rifles that were given to the soldiers became the immediate cause of the revolt. So let us see now why Lee Enfield rifles were the reason for this revolt. Let me explain. In order to load the rifles, the soldiers had to bite off the ends of greased cartridges. A rumor was spread in the camps that the cartridges were greased with the fat of cows and pigs. So this angered and hurt the Hindu-Muslim religious feelings. The sepoys refused to use these rifles, but when they were forced, the soldiers in anger shot their officers, broke open the prisons and set free the prisoners. On 29th March 19 On 29th March 1857, Mangal Pandey, he was a soldier. He attacked a British officer near Calcutta. For this, Mangal Pandey was hanged on 8th April 1857. So this lit fire for further action. The revolt started in Meerut and spread towards Delhi. Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Jafar II was asked to lead the revolt. So he was requested to become the leader of the revolt. He was nominated as the commander-in-chief. Revolt is nothing but opposing the British rules. The revolt spread to other parts of India as well. Among them, the popular leaders were Tantia Tope, Nana Sahib at Kanpur, Rani Lakshmi Bai at Jhansi, and Begum Hazrat Mahal at Awadh. But at the same time, many Indians stayed away from this revolt, and many even supported the British. The British organized in such a way that they could easily crush the revolt successfully. Now let us study the results of the revolt of 1857. The British government was shocked. It realized that it was time to end the rule of the East India Company. This thought came to East India Company because all the Indians started reverting back, answering back or questioning back the policies and procedures of Britishers which were imposed forcefully on Indians. So now they understood that okay, our time has come to an end. So in 1858, the British government decided to control India in a different way. A viceroy was appointed to rule over India on behalf of the crown. So before, East India Company was imposing the rules and regulations on India in the name of crown, but later on they changed it into viceroy. The Indian rulers were allowed to rule their kingdoms but were controlled by the English. The people of the country were promised freedom to follow their customs and practices. On the other hand, the Indians realized that if they unite, they could oust the British from the Indian soil. So now Indians understood that if we are united and if we fight unitedly, yes, we can shoo away the Britishers from India. Now let us study what are all the causes of failure of revolt 1857. The British were organized and they systematically managed to suppress Indians. And many Indians were with Britishers as well. This is a very sad part. The British had superior weapons and greater military strength. The two major issues which were the reasons of failure were there was no unity among Indians, and the second one was the lack of strong leadership. So this led to the failure of revolt of 1857. There are few more topics to be studied in the next class. Thank you, students.